Good day. Good day, good day, good day. Good day, good day. Whoa. How are we all? It's nice to see you people. Lovely people here again on a Tuesday. I'm being really bad at posting videos at the moment. It's not good. I've been being slow, working slowly. Oh. I've just sat back down again after getting some water before starting. Hello Indie Indian, hello Wandering Pixel, hello Assassin Gamer. Anyone else who's also here, hello. Hope you're doing well. Been working on a game you started making because of sheer inspiration from me. Wow. I'm glad that I've managed to inspire you to work on a game. That's awesome. What is it about? Tell me things. Tell me more. That's really cool though. You'll have to keep us updated on the progress over in the Discord server. Right, let's talk about what we're doing today briefly before we get started. The main objective today is going to be watching me fail at programming, basically. Outline. I've been doing work on Echo, as people in the Discord server will know. A lot of it this week and recently has been very closely related to the health system and UI displays, which I won't show that right now. I could show the designs. You know what? Let's pop open Illustrator because we can have a look at the stuff. You know, like the graphics that we've done, for the sake of keeping it on record. And then we'll talk more about what we're doing today while we're waiting for that to load. So, in all of this playtesting that I've been doing for getting shops and the UI and everything working, I'm thinking more about the player character and the playstyle things, and I'm really not happy with the way that it feels anymore. There's just a lot more that I'd like to do with the movement, and a lot of that is going to be down to working on the physics of things and getting things moving around nicely. And part of that is going to be recreating the physics system, or creating a new player controller with physics. So yeah, for anybody who swings by to these after the fact or who joins us later, this is the stuff that we've been working on. For people who aren't in the Discord server who come and watch this after the fact as well, there's a link in the description to come join. We share all of this stuff over there, as well as some of the awesome stuff that some of you guys are doing as well, like is shown in chat. But yeah, we've been working on different designs for what the health might look like, health UI might look like. And I've also in the actual project as well, I've implemented now the currency counter. So that's all in place and working. It's just a little bit janky. There's some bug fixing that I'd like to do. Yeah, it's taking me longer than I'd like it to, but we'll get progress eventually. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and upload as much stuff as I can around other things. I know the Echo devlogs are the most interesting thing to most people who watch the channel and who are subscribed. So I do want to try and get more out, but I don't want to feel like I'm rushing to push out content for the sake of pushing out content. You know, I want to make a good quality game over here, so that's going to be the focus. I don't want to end up rushing things for the sake of like pleasing the internet at the detriment of the game itself. So today, physics system character thing. I've got a little square thing set up here with a rigid body on it and a box collider. Got a floor which also has a kinematic rigid body, just means it doesn't move, and a box collider as well. And we've also got a post-processing volume which I'm doing some very subtle vignette stuff with, but the cube should just fall and land for the time being. That should be all that happens. Yeah, cool. There we go. He's not quite on the lip there. He's floating a little bit above, which is why. Oh, it's because the square is ever so slightly bigger than the collider. That's fine. We can fix that now. Oh, but yeah, we're gonna be working on creating a way for making this guy move about nicely, and we're gonna use the new input system. We're gonna be using messages rather than Unity events because I've discovered some bugs with Unity events that I don't like, and they're very annoying, especially when working with multiplayer. Which obviously with my game that's a massive problem. So yeah, we're gonna press on. See what we're saying. Justin in this guy. Oh, there we go. That's cool. Names to faces is always good. It's funny because, like, you know, pretty much all of you guys over in the Discord server already have completely different names on YouTube, so it's hard matching you guys up with the faces on here. Ah, there we go. That's awesome though. Let's see. Story-driven action adventure Metroidvania. Premise is you're exacting revenge on the Demon King, who is your father. Oh, and he sends you for being weak. Nice. Sounds like a classic Avatar type storyline. Do love that. I found a gauntlet that allows you to become stronger by absorbing the salt. Perfect. That's a good hook. That's a good hook. I think the music is a little loud. Ah, okay. Let me fix that real quick. Hop over into OBS. Hey, me. There we go. It should be hitting around the same place that it usually does. It's not any louder than usual. Maybe I'm quieter. Let's see. It's just... There we go. That should be better if I speak loudly as well. Or if I... Yeah. There. We'll leave it at that. And hope that I don't clip. Okay, let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna open up the... Oh, how does it work? I can't remember. We need on here, the player object, a player input. And we are going to create some new actions. Under assets, new folder, input actions. There's going to be player actions like that. And I usually dock this one over here with the tile palette down next to the scene view. There we go. Don't know why that was zoomed in so far. And you know what? Just because I want it to be vibrant and poppy, we're gonna up the saturation on this guy a little bit so he's a little more vibrant. There we go. A little less boring. And we will set up our player actions. So I'm actually going to just delete all of these. We're going to start again from 0. I'll leave the UI because it doesn't really matter. First thing, move. This is going to be a... Oh, wait. I need to add... ...2D vector composite, there we go. I think that's right. Move. Delete this one. Nope, not paste. Delete. Up we are going to have as W, of course. I probably shouldn't have deleted the ones that were already there. Would have been smart to just leave them as is, wouldn't it? Hello, Mark Boss. How you doing, man? Hope you are doing well. Ooh. I've just spotted this this mode thing, which I've never seen before. Arrow keys. Scheme for all of these is going to be mouse and keyboard, mouse and keyboard, mouse and keyboard, and mouse and keyboard. I feel like I'm doing that completely wrong. And then we're going to have jump. Your action type should not be button, it should be value. Control type vector 2. I think that's more like it. Is that right? Oh, I don't remember. Tell you what we're going to do actually. Forget this. Close that tab. Don't save. We're just going to go back to where it was. Don't reinvent the wheel, kids. Value vector 2. That's how it should be. And then we got was set up like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. I can delete look. I'll keep fire for the time being. And then I'm going to add another one for jump. And what I'm going to do is I'll rename fire to attack. And I've got my trusty PlayStation controller here, so we're gonna be using that for some things as well. If it connects, it should do. If not, I'll have to resync it. Come on. There we go. Bluetooth. DualShock. Let's connect that. Whoop. There we go. Jump. We are going to have you as space on the keyboard. Whoop. Space on the keyboard. Keyboard and mouse. And then we are going to have X on the gamepad. Button south. And just because I'm a bit of a neat freak, we're going to go through and remove these unwanted ones. I'm going to change the attack button to left shift, which is a terrible attack key, but we're going to go with it for the time being. Just because I don't want it to be click, because obviously the mouse is not a thing that we're using in Echo. And then we're getting rid of these two. Okay, so we have our input action is going to be player actions. Default scheme is doesn't matter. Auto switch, yeah, that's fine. Default map player. UI input module, don't need to worry about it. Don't need to worry about the camera, and we are sending messages. Cool. There we go. So now we've got these on attack, on jump, and all the other methods that we need to worry about handling. So I'm going to go, need a scripts folder. And we're going to create a new C# script, which is going to be our player movement. Trying to kind of follow a similar structure and practice to Unity's tanks demo. Also, what's this error all about? I've no idea, and I'm not going to worry about it because it's not my problem. Let's move this finder window over here. I've got some various things that I want to reference. So first of all, we need a reference to our rigid body, public rigid body 2D RB, and I'm gonna stick headers in the place because we like to keep things nice. References, that's cool. We will also then have a header for movement parameters. So this is going to have stuff like our public float, move speed, and things like gravity and stuff as well, if we want to calculate that ourselves, which I'm tempted to. The main reason I want to use a rigid body is for the conservation of momentum stuff and being able to apply forces rather than having to set velocity manually for things like knockback. Because I want it to kind of be a case that the drag of the object causes it to kind of hit a terminal velocity and then slow down. So at any given instant, which just apply a massive force to an object, it will kind of, you know, you have to work against that force to stabilize your velocity. Which is, it's going to be interesting thinking about how to do this. And I'll probably be referencing Google a lot and also other code. So one of those other code things, first of all, for handling the input, I want to look at the, where is it? This one, assets, yeah, there we go. Scripts, I want to look at the tank script, the tank movement script. Going to open that up in Sublime Text. Because this has things like how we handle the callbacks. So this is taking an input value. Here we go. So let's make a little section down the bottom here, which we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to be input handling methods. Public void on move. No, not like that. Just on move. It's going to take an input value input. I'm going to call it because I'm a bit weird like that. Gonna have on move, and we also need public void on jump. And I think we also need the public on attack. Public void on attack. Is that what I called it? I think that's what I called it. I think that's what I called it. I'll tell you what we'll do for the time being. We'll just say debug.log. Whoa, careful there. Debug.log. Moving with input colon plus input dot read value. Is it get? Get. Got you. Vector2 dot toString. Even though I know I don't need to do the toString, it's just good practice in my head. Change this to just jumping. Jumping. And we'll do the same down here. Say we're attacking. Now, I'm going to tell you that this is just me making sure that I'm setting things up correctly, but really it's me procrastinating over programming physics, because I don't want to do that today. I don't want to program physics. Physics is hard. It's good though, because nothing is working. Oh, it's because we haven't actually put the script on there. Duh. So let's stick our player movement script on here, and I'm going to move it up. And assign the rigid body in there as well, just so I don't forget to do that in future. Yay, okay. So the moving pickup is working for the most part. There's the jump, and there's the attack. Cool. I'm trying to think of an extra section. Internal data, I guess. Not that that needs a header, because it's all going to be private anyway, but we'll have a private vector 2 input vector. So this is going to be what that move input vector that we have is, and we're also going to be handling stuff like our gravity in here as well. I'm kind of just having a gander over it. This script on the right, by the way, is the tank movement script that Unity provides with their tanks example in the new input system example projects. I'm kind of cross-referencing for a combination of things. One is good coding practice, because I kind of trust the people at Unity to have some pretty good coding practices, and also actually setting things up with the new input system, especially in the context of a multiplayer game where we've got, you know, more than one thing controlling. Because to detail the bug that I have with the input system at the moment using events, the first player that joins the game triggers off input twice for some reason, and I'm not sure if it's my code doing something funny or if it's the input system doing something funny, and it's not particularly easy to debug, because there's an object running the code that doesn't exist in the scene. It's very like, why are you doing that? Right, so let's see how they're setting stuff up here. I think, is there stuff happening in the fixed update? Yeah, so fixed update is doing the movement and the turning. So this is something similar that we're going to need to do. Instead of the update method for moving, we're going to be using fixed update now, because we're using physics, and you always want to do physics stuff in the fixed update method, because I can't remember why. It's something to do with accuracy of physics calculations in Unity. If anybody knows why and can explain it, because it's been so long since I've like learnt that that's the thing to do and why, that I just don't remember the why anymore. I just know it's the thing to do. So this is all actually pretty simple stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do some experimenting here. We are going to what we're gonna do, I'd like to see if I can. Okay, let's get back to square one. Let's do some real simple stuff. Let's add our layer in here to say input vector equals input dot get vector 2 physics doesn't depend on your FPS or something. Yeah. That's probably the reason. That's probably the reason, Alan. Oh no, yeah, that's exactly the reason. That is exactly the reason. Fixed update runs consistently. It's like time.delta time as a thing that you just factor into calculations, because it takes into account the amount of time that's passed between a frame. Between the current frame and the previous frame. I'm going to do a similar thing as well. Public void move here. No, stop. Move controller. Let's call it that. And we are going to do a cheeky little yoink. We're going to do vector 2. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to say float move x equals, it's going to be equal to input vector multiplied by move speed multiplied by time dot delta time. Oh yeah, input vector dot x. I don't want to use input vector dot y. We don't need to, because we're going to be jumping for that. And then we'll do rb dot what is it? Move position. Moves rigid body to a position. That's interesting. And then we'll call move in here. Alan, just cause it's a thing I do, don't think I'm an expert. I'm pretty bad. Oh, he's moving pretty slowly. It's because move speed is 0. Let's try actually setting our move speed to something, shall we? Set move speed to like 5. I think the main problem that we're going to have as well is the we want to be using velocity. We don't want to be... Yeah. Go on. He does move though. He's a moving man. So what I want to figure out now is if when I add a force, if I do an add force, is that going to... Let's just say vector 2 dot up multiplied by 10. Let's add a force of 10 in that instant, and we're going to see if he does like a... and slows down slowly. What I do need to do though, actually, we're going to do some speedy refactoring here. We need to actually set a velocity. So internal data, we're also going to have a private vector 2 velocity, which we will calculate. We'll calculate it in the move controller for now. We're just going to say velocity equals new vector 2, and it's going to be whatever that is on the x-axis, and then it's going to be minus 9.8, you know, minus 10, can't be asked with decimals, minus 10 times rb.mass. And then here we're going to use velocity as our moving factor. Let's just double check that that's working. The problem that I think we're going to run into here is that now he's just going to keep falling through the floor. Whoa, he's moving quickly. Jeez, he is moving quickly. Alright, calm down. If I set it to 0, let's just do -1. He definitely moved through the floor though, didn't he? Oh, it's because I'm not timesing by times dot delta time. Yeah, there we go. Always times by time dot delta time. I'm not going to factor in the mass because I'm not messing with the mass right now. So, problem with this one, we're not using drag anymore, so there's no terminal velocity. I'd have to do that myself if I was going to include it. We also need... Oh, no, he collides with the floor. Oh, but he's not moving very quickly. Probably because of, like, friction with the floor, I'd guess. So, yeah, that's step number 1. We're going to have to... sort out gravity not colliding, because I don't want to use Unity's built-in gravity particularly. We'll see. We'll see what I decide. Oh. Jumping didn't do anything, did it? Jumping indeed did not do anything. If I comment out that movement line, let's see if it does anything now. Oh wait, don't tell me it's like moving it backwards and I'm just being a dunce. No, it's not. It's just way too small. Way too small a force. A 1000's going to be way too big a force, but that's what this is all about. We're experimenting here, yo. So he's going to start falling real slow. Boop. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so that movement thing is what's doing it dirty. But like, as you can see down in the bottom right corner, which you probably can't see because it's pretty damn tiny, but that add force kind of isn't having the desired effect. If you just look down in the bottom left, the movement's very floaty, and I know that's mostly down to what the gravity setting is in physics. You can go in and fix that over here. If I set the gravity to like -20, then you know that's all well and good. It won't go as high. So there's like -50, and there's, yeah, it's a little more. Maybe I could get away with this. Maybe I could get away with it. So down here, instead of using 0, we'll use rb.velocity.y. And we'll continue the movement there. And then what I'm going to do is just add in another platform. First of all, let's sort this jump height out. Something like 100. And that's where some maths is going to have to come in, because I need to remember my kinematic equations, which I have in one of my scripts. I need my other platform. Oh. Now gravity isn't working again, even though I'm using rigidbody.velocity. I feel like that should work. Does anybody else feel like that should work? I mean, move position obviously works, but we've got some problems elsewhere. I'm getting emails, marketing emails. I don't want none of those. Right. Let's make another platform. It's going to be floor brackets 1, and it's going to be 1 brick tall by like 5 wide. That's good enough for me. And we're going to stick it at like 2, 1 on the y-axis, and we'll take our player. Just move our player down a little bit, just because he's in a better place. Use his Godot, good man. Probably not a bad choice. If I'd gotten into game dev more recently than 10 years ago, Godot would be my vibe, but I'm far too in it with Unity now. I think it's time to go to Google. Let's have a looky here. rb.move. Why am I doing rb. Oh, not working. Don't care about that. Ours is working. We just don't know how. So we're going to find out. Yeah, that's just doing that. Just doing that like that. So we could... Oh, here's a question. If I freeze position on X and Y, are we going to have... Is that going to break our code? More experimentation. Yes, it is going to break our code. Cool. So if I set the mass to 0... Angular drag to 0. Oh wait, can I set the gravity scale to 0? Yes I can. So mass can stay as 1 and then we shouldn't fall at all, right? We should just stay still. Yeah. Then if we press the space button we slowly raise up. So the problem that I've got here, I've got this problem guys, where I want to use the force system of Unity's primitive rigid body, but I want to use my own physics system for handling things like jumping and movement, because, you know, to big up my man Sebastian Lay, he's just his character controller is awesome, and it uses a whole bunch of, you know, custom physics, which is really great for this type of thing, and gives you loads of customization of how the thing should feel, and also making sure you can cap movement values, because that's another thing that I'm not 100% on, is how I could get smooth player movement without force rather than move position. Yeah. Because obviously doing move position fully overwrites any forces. Let's do some more looking about. Wouldn't I use a kinematic body if I wanted to use custom physics? No. Issue that Unity has is if you set a rigid body to kinematic, this might be a bug in recent versions of Unity that's been fixed, but I don't think it would be, because I don't know how someone would introduce that and not notice it. But if you have a rigid body set as kinematic, suddenly the things like on trigger enter and on collision enter don't work anymore. I'm pretty sure, unless I coded something wrong. But for that purpose, I need my rigid bodies to be dynamic. That's fine. I still want to do that, because like I say, I want a combo between custom physics and Unity's built-in physics. I just want to figure out if there's a good way to combine the two. Well, yeah, that would be the other option. That would be the other option to have for then moving. And then I suppose I don't have to use rigidbody.move position. I can just directly set the velocity, the x velocity of the rigid body to whatever the input is, and then yeah, I'm overcomplicating things in my head. Okay, let's do a quick looky over at my what is it, core controller 2D. I think it's controller 2D. I'll just drag and drop him over here. So this is the one that's based off of Sebastian Laig's excellent tutorial, where we're doing things with raycasts and lots of fun physics-based maths and things like that. And then the velocity is updated on any axis based on an upcoming collision on a certain layer, which, yeah, that does make a lot. It does make a lot of sense. The problem that I run into is momentum, conservation of momentum stuff. But that's the fun of programming. I can feel we're not going to get a lot done today. I can feel it. I can feel it. So yeah, a thing to do is probably going to be to copy this. Though I'm tempted, instead of using raycasts, to use is it a rect cast? Can I do physics 2D dot 2D dot cast box cast? That's it. Yeah. And then I can maybe do some maths with that, and I could do two casts in the right and down. That does make a lot more sense rather than drawing the different raycasts. So we can just have yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, right, let's do some converting, shall we? So what I need to remember is if I use this as a basis for my physics objects. No, I don't. It just has to have a reference to one. Okay. Cool. So let's make this controller 2D class, which is going to be a very much so copy-paste job. We're just going to do some little calculation stuff. What up, yo, my man? How you doing? I missed your stream the other day, which makes me sad because I really wanted to swing by, but I was just too busy to come by, unfortunately. But I hope you are doing well. We're on the struggle bus of creating some custom physics right now to try and improve the player controller, and I'm doing it in an empty sandbox because I've just updated to Unity 2020 as well. So yeah, we'll see what's happening. Hey Adam, how you doing? I'm doing alright. Being a fool and coding physics, as you do. Okay, right, so we want to keep the public const. We're going to keep that skin width float. 0.0.15f. Oh, 0.0.15. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? Yo, dude, how's it going? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Glad you could stop by. Custom physics. Brave coding on stream, mate. Is it brave or stupid? It could be either or. Yeah. What I'm doing though is there's a lot of simplification that I can go on with here at the moment, which is nice. Environment mask. So one thing that we're doing to simplify things a lot more is collision info. I need to make that struct again. I'm just going to copy paste these two. Actually no, I'm just going to copy paste this one because I don't need the other one. Yeah, one of the things that we're doing is using a box cast instead of a set of ray casts, because it's just better. I think I can just have a box that is the size of the player going out downwards or upwards depending on whether you're moving up or down, and then left and right depending on whether you're moving left or right, obviously, instead of having to cast out like 4 or 5, like a whole bunch of ray casts basically. So that's nice. We don't need to do any of this update raycast origins stuff, which is really cool. We don't need to have raycast origins at all, actually. We can make things really easy. So I'm still going to have it require component type of box collider 2D, because we're probably going to make use of it somewhere, and I will have a reference to it as well. Public box collider 2D collider. Actually, I'll call it col. That's what I usually call it. Don't know why. It's just a habit. Public void awake. Let's do all of these things. Col equals this dot. No! I don't need to do this, but again, good practice. Get component, and it's going to be box collider 2D. I'm really struggling to type at the moment. It's not good. Don't need to do calculate ray spacing, but we will do info dot face direction equals 1 to signify you're facing to the right, just as a standard. And then we've got our lovely little move thing, which we're of course going to be calling again in the fixed update method. So public void move, which is going to take in every time move, going to take in our vector2 velocity. We'll do info dot reset if velocity dot x is not equal to 0. Then info dot face direction equals. I can copy paste all of this. I don't know why I'm not copy pasting. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And I need some brackets on the end of that reset. We're always doing horizontal collisions, and we're only doing vertical collisions if we're actually moving on the y-axis, which does make sense. It does, I promise. If my brain were more awake right now, I'd be able to tell you in more detail why that makes sense. But if you give me like a minute to think about it, I can tell you why that does make sense. We'll have private, we'll have these private because we don't need to use them anywhere else. Private void horizontal collisions, which is going to take in a ref vector2 velocity. The reason that it's ref is because any changes that we want to make to it inside this horizontal collisions method, we want them to apply to the velocity that we're using in the move method as well. So yeah, we need to make sure we have those. Yeah, we need to make sure that we pass it through as reference, so that any changes that we make in this method also get made in the move method. We're doing vertical collisions. So here's where things start getting a little bit tricky. We need our float direction. X is going to be equal to info.face direction as we have above. Don't need array length. But we do need this. If math f.absolute of velocity.x is greater than skin width, then we want our distance of this. Is this the, no, this is move position. I'd like physics 2D, box cast, physics 2D. So yeah, we can cast this over a distance. It's basically like a raycast, but just a box. And there's one for circles as well. It's brilliant. And I was reading a Reddit post about it, to be honest, which is, you know, questionable, but it's actually very true. Cast distance equals mathf.absolute of velocity.x x plus the skin width and then yeah, we're saying cast distance equals 2 times skin width. That's all going to be the same as before, and then we don't need to do a for loop anymore. We can just say raycast hit 2D hit equals physics 2D dot boxcast. For the time being, we'll do it transform dot position. Size is going to be transform dot local scale. Angle 0. Don't need an angle. And then direction is going to be direction X. Right? I guess that would have to be a new direction X multiplied by vector 2 dot right. Yeah, there we go. That makes sense now. So we are casting this box from our position with a size of the size of our object, no angle applied, in a direction that is right multiplied by whatever our look direction is, where 1 is to the right and -1 is to the left. Cool. Oh yeah, environment mask. We need to include that. So that's our mask for what we actually want to pay attention to. So then if hit is not null, if hit exists, then velocity.x equals hit.distance minus skin width. And actually it's going to be transform.local scale multiplied by negative skin width, I believe. Multiplied by direction X. This is going to be really funny to see if this works. I don't need to update the ray length. I do need to update the info though. And info.right equals direction X equal to 1. Copy a lot of this logic for the other one as well. Where are we at? Oh god, we've been going for like an hour and a half almost. no, we've been going for an hour. Oh yeah, I started at 2:15, didn't I? 2:45 even. Okay. So going until 9:45 is the plan. Because I'd like to make this cool. Because another thing as well, why I'm using the rigid body, is so I can use angular velocity. So we can do things like when the player gets hit or something, and then we can rotate them or ragdoll them or something. Just to make things a little bit more interesting. Okay, so direction Y. Wait a minute, have I not... I've not included the distance, idiot. Cast distance. Hold on. Direction, contact note. There we go. And then environment mask goes on the end. It's important that you know what order things need to be passed in. Because clearly I don't. Oh, I put cast direction as well instead of cast distance. Direction Y is going to be mathf dot absolute. No, mathf dot sign. That's it. Nice little function in Unity which returns +1 or -1 depending on whether the number is positive or negative. Cast distance then I imagine will be velocity.y, and then this is going to be direction y multiplied by vector2.up, I think. Makes a lot of sense. Velocity.y is going to be hit.distance minus skin width multiplied by direction y. Yeah, cool. And then this is going to be above. No, it's not. Yeah, it is going to be below for -1, and this is going to be above. And then this is going to be direction y and direction y. Cool. Yo, Omnis, how's it going? I don't believe I've seen your face before. Have I seen your face before? If I have, I apologise. I'm half asleep. If I haven't, welcome. It's nice to have you stopping by. Hope you're doing well. We are about to test out this ting here. I want this to have a public rigid body 2D, and this is going to be RB. Gonna have that like that instead, and then instead of doing transform.translate, we're gonna say rb.velocity equals velocity. So we're just gonna directly set the velocity for our rigid body like that. And then obviously we need a public controller 2D. Controller. On awake, we're going to say controller equals get component, this dot get component, controller 2D. We can remove our rigid body reference here because we don't need it there anymore. Of course, this means we are now going to do a require component type of controller 2D. And we're simply going to call, instead of move controller, we are just going to do controller, whoops, dot move velocity, and the next bit is going to be, oopsie daisy, I deleted a bracket by accident. Get rid of that for the time being, because jumping is going to be a little more interesting to sort out. So is X velocity, to be fair. Let's pop open our oh, did I close it? I did as well. Fool. What am I doing? Sheepdog. Games, tower climbing, Unity, educator, blah blah blah, echo, assets, scripts, core, and then I think it's player. Oh no, entities player. There we go. The weird thing that I've got with the way that my game's set up is because I'm using the UI, because I'm controlling the UI through the input system as well, and I've got methods for triggering scripts in there. I'm not using I'm using a single object to control different things, and it means that the input for a player is handled in a separate class to the entity that moves. So I've got a player class, which is the entity, and then a player controller class, which handles the input and then just passes it through. Yeah, it's interesting. So our movement parameters, this is what we're going to need to look at here. Underneath internal data, we will have our private jump float, jump velocity. Not going to worry about player index or attack power. I just want to get the movement working and playing about with that a bit more. These things, time to jump apex and wall stick time. I think it's just time to jump apex that I need, because I was doing something different with gravity. I have a value of gravity that I like, which I have set statically in my game manager. I think it's like 35 or 34.5, something like that. But we'll have our private void calculate jump velocity, which is going to do exactly this. We calculate the time to jump apex first. So this is a kinematic equation that I was talking about, where we take into consideration the jump height. So let's do that. How high should we jump? Someone give me suggestions for some jump height. How many units high should the player be able to jump? I'm thinking something like maybe 2 is probably good. Gravity, like I said, I'm going to set to like 34.5, because I seem to recall that as a value that I like. I might double check it real quick actually, just in my game manager, because it's one that I've used. 2, nice. Agreed. Yeah, it's one that I've used in a few projects, whatever my value for gravity is. 35.7. I've used it, yeah, used it across a couple of places, and it's nice. It feels good. 2 units. And then the jump velocity is going to be equal to mathf.absolute of 35.7 F, not G, multiplied by time to jump apex. I think it is that simple. Yeah. And that is some basic kinematic equations, basic physics, basic mechanics of maths. Amazing. So you can see here, first things first, we're doing controller.move in the wrong place. We want to be doing it in the fixed update when we're using anything to do with physics, including raycasts and other casting things, and especially using rigid body collision things. We want to be using fixed update, as Alan said earlier, because we don't want the physics to vary dependent on the frame rate, and be able to do some real janky things when you got a really high or really low frame rate. Like clipping through walls is something that you could definitely do if physics was being calculated, dependent on the frame rate. But it gets messy. It gets messy. Calculate jump velocity. We'll do that straight at the start. We are setting our input vector. So how do we calculate what we want our velocity to be? Velocity, it should be the same. It should be equal to input vector multiplied by I have a feeling there's going to be some stuff that's in the entity class, but there shouldn't be. Because I tried to use like abstraction and inheritance and polymorphism as much as I can, just because it saves a lot of time and code copying in a lot of cases. Like, for example, everything in Echo is physics based and should be interacted with the same way. So I just have a class called physics object, which has things like the move controller. Everything should have a controller 2D for, you know, handling movement. Everything should have a move speed, I guess, or like a weight or something that factors into the forces that are applied to it. Which basically, this controller 2D is basically a replacement for rigid body, and half of the reason why I don't want to do that is because it is just a massive time sink, but it's massive customizability as well. So I'm like, it's like, you know, pros and cons, and I'm more into the pros than I am into the cons. Especially if it's a new learning opportunity, you know, I can learn plenty of stuff. That's fine. If controller dot above, info dot above, or controller dot info dot below, then we are grounded, so our velocity on y is going to equal 0. Otherwise, we want to increase our velocity by gravity. But I added in some coyote time in here. Whoops, don't have that. Negative 35.7. Also, this is another reason why we set variables. I'm typing 35.7 everywhere. I really shouldn't be. I'm also thinking that should be negative and that should be negative. And I don't want to set velocity dot y directly. It should be velocity dot x there and velocity dot x there. Okay, let's see if this actually works, shall we? I feel like there's going to be some conflicts, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I suppose we're going to have a problem come in here where we're going to be asking ourselves the question, what's the point in having a rigid body on here anymore if we're just making custom physics anyway? Was that the end of the playlist? I think it was. Yeah, it was. Let's do some lo-fi hip-hop beats. Let's just wait for that ad to finish. This is professional streaming at its best, guys. Trust me. Trust me. There we go. This is vibes. This is vibes. I can get behind this. Environment mask. Let's sort that out real quick, shall we? Let's create a new mask called environment. Box collider, rigid body, and then player controller. Fingers crossed. Okay, we're not moving and we're not jumping. Nothing is happening whatsoever. Our position is changing very slowly. Have I... Nope. Feel like, yeah, there's going to be some wacky collisions using RB rigidbody.velocity. If we go here and do a transform.translate, unless it's because I'm not doing a time.delta time. Let's try this. Although I don't think that'll fix it. I'm not convinced. I see no reason why it should. If anything, we should have just been moving really quick. Yo, Frozen Well, how you doing? How you doing, man? It's going. It's going. Currently in the process of trying to create a custom physics system to improve the player controller, and it's not really working. I mean, I know why the jumping isn't working. That makes a lot of sense because we're not actually setting the velocity here when we hit the jump button. If controller.info.below. Whoops. Then we want to jump. So velocity.y equals jump velocity. Shouldn't have to do that though. I should have to do that. Is that right? Yeah. See, because now the problem that I've got is that we've got exactly what we had before. There's no rigid body. Okay, there's no rigid body usage and it's very broken. I didn't even see what just happened then, but something was wrong. We're just kind of falling through the floor. Alright, mate, alright. Let's do a quick... Just pop out the rigid body, because we're not using it anywhere. Hey? Now he's just falling through the floor. I want to try stepping through frame by frame and seeing what's happening. Boop, 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 boop. So right about here, he should stop, but he just keeps going. Oh, it's because my... Is it because my floors are kinematic? It may well be because they've got rigid bodies on them that are kinematic. That's causing issues there. Wait, what did I just do? Oh, I reset. I want to remove the component. Let's see what happens now. Nope. Still the same. So there's where it should stop. But just doesn't. Let me just do a check real quick. I want to make sure we're actually moving left to right. Because it seemed to me like maybe we weren't. Okay, we're moving left to right. Are we colliding left to right? There's a question. Let's just duplicate for law 2. No, we're not. We're not colliding at all. Our layer is set. So that makes me think that our casting isn't working. Origin is transformed up position. Maybe we just try transformed at local scale. So that should be one. Just one by one by one. Or 1 by 1, I guess. What's the third one again? Angle. What does that represent? Nope. the angle of the box in degrees. Yeah, makes sense. Suppose if I was doing a box cast, the angle is like that. Let's just do a debug. Let's do some debug.login. Debug.log. And we're gonna do hit, not hash utilities. Hit.transform.name. BAME name. Like that. We're doing that on horizontal to clear the collisions. Because I'm not gonna mess with Y. Yeah, I wanna just mess with the x-axis. To make sure that's all working as it should. I have a sneaking suspicion it won't. Oh! It worked now. What the freak? Huh? Huh? What sorcery? Do genuinely, does anybody know what I just did? Because something happened and things are working. That's very peculiar. Unless the problem is my value of velocity, the gravity even. Let's just set this to -10 for the time being and see. Although it shouldn't, because it just does. Watch it not work now. You see? You see? I think it was kind of doing collisions there. Maybe my problem is I'm not setting values correctly. Or maybe it's just the magical power of the debug.log. Just makes the collisions work. Or maybe it's because I'm doing things in a fixed update. Though it shouldn't be. It shouldn't, because I'm doing things in it. Yeah. That's still very broken. Which makes me think my... I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong, quite obviously. Let's set this back to 35.7. F. I'm doing something wrong with the way I'm handling. Ah, there we go. That needs to be Y. Honestly, I swear down, if that works now, I am actually gonna just cry. Watch this work now. No! It's still very broken. If anything, it might be worse. Joseph, hello. It kind of does feel like it. I think for me it's because the clocks have changed. And it's a short week as well because of Easter and everything. We got Friday off work. We got next Monday off work. 4-day weekend. It's gonna be great. It means I've got a hell of a lot to do at work though, and that's less great. Okay, well it didn't work, and that's good. That makes me happy. Let's do some comparing. Velocity.y, sine of velocity.y, so we know what direction we're moving in. Direction y multiplied by vector 2 dot up. That is the 1, 2, 3, 3. No, 4. That's the fourth one. So that's the direction. Yeah, that's right. Distance is cast distance. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a bit stuck. I'm a wee bit stuck. Cause it's working. Oh! It worked. Why did that work all of a sudden? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. We can't jump, but that's alright. Why can't we jump? That's the question. If I change this back to fixed update again, nothing should be broken. It should all be fine. Let's find out. Yep, that's all fine. Let me just make sure jumps are still registering. Oh, of course, I don't have the thing anymore. We can get rid of those debugs as well now. So I changed something and it made it work, and I think it's this transform.scale multiplied by negative skin width. Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. I need to do transform.scale minus transform.scale multiplied by skin width. Let's just double check that that still works. So what I was doing, I've just realized what I was doing. I was multiplying it so that the size of the square is negative. I was multiplying scale by a negative number, and of course that makes the makes it smaller than it should be. There we go. There we go. Perfect. I'd like to go in here and I'd like to just sort out my sprite size as well. I changed it to 246, shrunk it down by 10. So that's going to make it look a little bit bigger on the screen, but it's also going to make it actually sit flush. Once it loads. Yeah, there we go. In fact, he might be overlapping a little bit. Let's you're going to be 2. You're going to be 1. Yeah, he's overlapping a little bit, and that will be because of the skin width on Y, which means I'm just doing some calculations wrong. Which makes me think I can probably just get rid of this entire bit on the bottom here. I don't need to worry about any skin width. Though I'm lying, I do need to worry about skin width, but forget about it. We won't worry about it for now. What are we looking at? 30 minutes. 30 minutes left on the clock, guys. And we want to get jumping working, which in my one over here, I'm actually doing a check to see if a jump has been triggered, because I think what happens is we do this check here. To see if a jump, we do this check here to see if we're grounded, and that sets the velocity, but then we also do a check up here to see if we're grounded, which sets it to 0. So we're actually just going to have another private bool jump triggered. It's going to be false by default, and then we'll do a velocity equals jump triggered question mark jump velocity :0, and then we'll just really bad way to do that. I'm gonna have to refactor that a bit, but just to see if it makes it work. We're gonna check that out. Nice, jumping works. I can't tell if we're still sat in the ground a little bit or not. Up 2. There we go. Let's call this fill as well. I'm really enjoying the lo-fi right now. And we're going to up the move speed of our player to like 7.5, and I'm going to put the jump height up to 2.5 as well. How high is this one? Why is the size weird as well? You should be 1 by 1. And you should also be 1 by 1. That would explain why we're sinking into the floor, wouldn't it? Let's stick that skin width. Whoops. Oh my god, what? I can type omegas. Oh my god, what? Oh my god, what? That's something I never knew I could do. I can hold down option Z and that gives me an omega symbol, and option X gives me a roughly equal symbol. Also, I'm seeing a about post-processing. Which I can't really be asked to fix that right now. It's that's a Unity problem. Blame them. Cool. Oh. Yeah, there's a problem. If I'm in the air and I press the space bar, it'll jump again when I hit the floor. So that's something I'll need to fix. I need to make that movement feel way more snappy as well. It's not quite where it's at. But first things first that I wanted to do, I want to add a rigid body onto my player object again. With no gravity scale of 0. I want to see if I can do some funky things, starting by taking this and moving it down to 0. I want to see if I jump and hit the corner, is it gonna cause me to rotate? The answer is no. Which I think makes sense, but I also don't at the same time. Also, I've noticed that it's like massively tanked the frame rate. My frame rate generally is just really low, because I got just stuff running. I need to give it a clean out, to be fair. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's move up. Any optimization tips for mobile? Ooh, good question. Do I have any optimization tips for mobile? I don't know that I do, to be honest. I haven't done much mobile development. There's ones that I know of, but I just can't dredge them off the top of my head. I'm drawing a blank. I'm afraid. I know for one is keep your file size down. Also, don't use particle systems Mobile's really bad with Unity particle system, or like masses of particle systems anyway. It has some optimization issues with that. That's the best one that I've got on hand though. It's just the Unity particle system with mobile. Doesn't behave very well. Whoops. You're welcome. It's not as helpful as I'd like to be, but yeah, mobile's not my strong suit. That's a good one from Assassin Gamer there. Texture compression settings, make sure they're good and correct. Oh, I'm on a deep Google. I'm at a point where a lot of the stuff that I want to do, or any of the stuff that I'm going to look to doing now, I want to use the rigid body for the purposes of momentum conservation, which makes me think I need to just look into a way for setting up player movement properly with it. Because I can't be having sliding, like slow sliding and mini bunny hops. That's just not where it's at. We want movement that's like what we got here. A little more snappy. Do like and I need to do auto sync transforms. Otherwise some strange things happen. Oh, that's massively improved the frame rate as well. Yeah, I'll need to do some more fiddling. I think for the sake of the stream, I'm gonna probably call it there. There's some more googling I need to do and some more reading, but hopefully I'll update more about this in a video later on in the week. The fact that we've got a long weekend is helpful. That means I can take most of Friday to work on stuff and hopefully have some actual content to upload for you guys. Because I'm really behind. I'm really behind on my uploads, and it's rubbish. I need to get back on it. So yeah, I'll hopefully be back with an actual video upload this weekend. New devlog for Echo or something at least, and we'll see how that goes. But with that said, I want to thank you all for showing up. Thank you for coming and spending time with me, watching me fail at code. And trying to create this little physics controller. I'm going to keep posting updates for this in my Discord server. If you're not already joined in the Discord server, there's a link in the description. Please consider coming and joining. We've got some awesome people in there already, including Joseph, Indie Indian, Assassin Gamer as well, who have been in the chat. Frozen Wells in there, What Eep's in there. So yeah, it's a fun time. If you're watching and you're not already in there, come join in. We share some memes, talk game dev. It's a good time. Additionally, we're running a special offer on our Patreon page at the moment. If you join anytime between now and the end of April, so for like a whole other month, on the Supporter Plus tier or higher, you will automatically get yourself into every single one of the games that I ever make from now into the infinite future, even if you cancel your membership. So it's a fun little thing if you want to get yourself featured either as a character or like a hat or in the credits of the games. That's an offer that we've got on the Patreon page at the moment, along with a bunch of other stuff that runs as default. So please consider checking it out if you haven't already. I think that's everything I have to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will catch you on the flip side. I'll be in the Discord for a bit if anyone's still around. Yeah. Cheers, guys.